Hi everyone, welcome back. We are in the middle of 4 weeks challenge and the idea is to help you to get fluent and confident in speaking English in these 4 weeks, right? So I'm just focusing on your speaking practice and how you can practice speaking, the methods, the ways, the techniques, all of it so that you can just find one for you which suits you and you can start practicing every day at least for 10 minutes so that you can become more confident and more fluent in speaking English. You all know, guys, practice is the only key. You have to practice. If you don't have time to practice, I'm sorry to say, it will not help you. Your English will not improve without practicing. So instead of doing everything else, if you start practicing only for 10 minutes every day, continuously for at least 4 weeks, to start with, you will definitely going to see a major difference in your confidence and in your fluency. Okay, there are lots of ways of practicing English speaking, but I'm just starting with the basics. So to start with the basic and then you can go ahead with other things. I have a long list of conversation videos. You can just browse them. You can just go through them. They are really of great help. People have improved their speaking skills by speaking on those topics, on those formats. Trust me on that. So what are you waiting for? Quickly subscribe my channel, like and share my videos, and do write your comments in the comment section. And don't forget to press the notification icon. On that note, guys, welcome back to my channel. I am your communications coach and a soft skill trainer by profession, and I'm here to help you out with all your communications problems and to help you speak English fluently and confidently. Well, today's session is little different. I just thought of helping you with the reading technique. I've spoken about listening skills, how you can become an active listener, right? And what things you need to focus on. It's the same with reading also. Reading helps a lot, guys. Trust me on this. Nowadays, people have forgotten reading because they have their mobiles with them. Reading has become obsolete. It has become a thing of the past. Nowadays, people use their mobiles, they open their mobiles, they start reading, they start listening to, right? So reading has converted to listening. So any which ways, if you're reading also, if you're listening also, what things you need to focus on, I'm going to tell in this session, and I'm actually going to read a story and a news article, and I'm going to tell you how you can practice active listening or what areas you need to focus on and how it will help you in improving your English and your English speaking skills. Okay, this is very important, guys. So reading has been converted into listening nowadays. So it doesn't matter if you're reading or if you're listening to anything, it's the same. It's just that reading, you have to read. So it will help you to get familiar with the language, get familiar with the pronunciation, get familiar with the movement, mouth movement, muscle movement, and everything else. You should speak out loud. Okay, read out loud is something which is preferred. And if you're listening also, you can practice this. You listen to the thing, listen to each sentence, repeat it. So in this way, you can practice reading by listening also. Okay, so anyways, that is not my concern. My concern is what areas you need to focus on and how it will help you to improve your English communication skills or English speaking skills. So that I'm going to talk to you in this session. Okay, so let's get started. Here I'm going to read a story for you and I'll tell you what things you need to focus on so that it helps you in your... I'm going to read the story which is called The Cobra and the Crows. It's a beautiful story. It's a kid's book. I always tell you, read simple stories. Start with simple, basic English. So this storybook is called, I hope you can see, Panchtantra, Animal Tales from Panchtantra. And it is a very simple book. Very easy language is there. So I'm going to read one story for you so that you also understand what is there. Once upon a time, two crows built their nest in a large banyan tree. I'll repeat. Once upon a time, two crows built their nest in a large banyan tree. In a hollow of the same tree lived a black cobra. In a hollow of the same tree lived a black cobra. Now, what you need to focus on here, there's a comma after once upon a time. So you have to take a small pause there. Once upon a time, two crows built their nest in a large banyan tree. In a hollow of the same tree lived a black cobra. Now, coming to the vocabulary part, you know what built means. They have constructed their nest in a large banyan tree. Okay, large is big, huge. Okay, in a hollow. Hollow means a hole. There's a hole in the tree where a black cobra lived. So you need to focus on the pauses where you have to take. Okay, and the vocabulary plus the pronunciation, how it is pronounced. For example, the word built. One is built and the other is built with a T. Okay, built refers to the past, like the action is done in the past. So that is why it is called built. If you use build, I am going to build a house, which means I am going to do something. If the action is going to take place, then build is used. But if built is used with a T, which means action has taken place. Okay, so this is the grammar part which we need to understand. The next paragraph is, every time the she-crow laid eggs in the nest, the cobra climbed up the tree and ate them. I'll repeat it again. Every time the she-crow laid eggs in the nest, the cobra climbed up the tree and ate them. The crows could only watch helplessly. I'll repeat again. The crows could only watch helplessly. Okay. Now, here about the pause. Every time the she-crow laid eggs in the nest, there's a comma. So, I have to take a pause and then I'll speak. The cobra climbed up the tree and ate them. There's a full stop. We have to take a pause, long pause. And then after a second, we can start. The crows could only watch helpless. Okay, so this is about the pause and the full stop. Basically, the tone, how it is said. Okay, coming to the next part is the vocabulary. She-crow means the female crow. Okay, which lays eggs. Climbed. Climbed means to go up. Okay, watch means to see. Helplessly means they can't do anything. They are helpless. They couldn't do anything. They couldn't save their eggs. So that is what it means here. Coming to the grammar part, the crows could only watch helplessly. Could only watch, which means the action is repeatedly done. Okay, could only watch helplessly. So every time the cobra came and ate the eggs, the crows can only watch. They can't do anything. So they could only watch. So the crows can only watch helplessly will not be used. Could. Okay, because the action is repeated every time and it is a past action. Like it is done. The cobra comes, eat and go. Okay, and the crows has to watch that. That's it. So that is why it is said the crows could only watch helplessly. So the actions are in the past or it is repeated every time. It has been repeated every single time. So these were the two paragraphs of the story and what things you have to focus on, right? So basically you have to focus on the tone, like you have to give a pause, small pause during the comma, a little bigger pause for a full stop, and then you have to stress some words more, some less. Okay, and then of course the vocabulary. If you know the words, that is well and good. If you don't know the words, go and start searching in the dictionary. Coming to the next part is the grammar part. You have to realize if it is a past action or a present action or a future action. Okay, and of course the pronunciation. You have to pronounce each word clearly. That is what I did right now. I have focused and stressed on every single word so that it's clear for you to understand. So start practicing in this way. This was just a practice session. I just thought of taking it up so that it's clear for you to understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, so this is one thing. Coming to the second one, I'm going to read a news article for you and I'm going to tell you how you can read a newspaper and what areas you need to focus on. While you are reading a newspaper or reading an article, you are reading a newspaper, you are reading an article, you are reading a blog, or you are listening to any piece of information. It's all the same. So you have to follow the same method, same rules, same thing. Okay, let's get started. So I've taken this the Indian Express article, which says why the health of children should be at the core of any pollution policy. You can also search for this article. You will get that article. This article was on editorial page on June 22nd. So the heading says why the health of children should be at the core of any pollution policy. Okay, what does that mean? Let's get an idea of what it says. It means the health of children should be at priority while coming up with any pollution policy. Okay, and it is saying that why it is important to keep children as priority while coming up with a pollution policy. So this is the idea of the whole article and this is what the heading says. Okay, so you have to focus on what it says first. What is the heading about? Or by reading the heading, we'll get to know and we'll get an idea of what the article will have, which means what the article content will be. Okay, so it is about why children's health should be at priority while deciding on any pollution policy or while coming up with a pollution policy. Okay, now there's a word called core. Okay, health of children should be at the core of any pollution policy. Core means at the center or at priority. Okay, so this is a new word. If we know the meaning, that's well and good. If we don't know the meaning, get a dictionary or Google it on your phone and get the word's meaning. Now, this core has a lot of other meanings as well. Okay, so what you can do here is you can come up with other meanings as well. Write it down on a sticky note and start practicing. After reading this article, what you can do is you can start making sentences with the other meaning of this word as well. Okay, use this word in 2-3 different sentences with different meanings so that you get into the practice of using this word or getting familiar with this word. It's a very basic word. It is used very much in everywhere. Okay, pollution, we all know what pollution is. Okay, policy is something which is a draft or a set of rules or parameters which we all need to follow. Okay, a set of rules which we need to abide by or comply with. Okay, so this is what policy means. So this is how you have to focus on the idea, what it says. Okay, what is the general idea of the sentence, the vocabulary, the pronunciation, of course. That is why I am giving stress on every single word so that you can pronounce it better. Okay, and if there is a new word which is new to you, jot it down, check its meaning and whatever meaning it has. If it has 3-4 meanings, write it down. Use that word with different meanings in your sentences so that you get familiar with the word and its meaning so that you can use it further. Coming back to the article, the first sentence is, India has the most number of children under the age of 5 dying due to air pollution. See how bad it is. So I'll repeat the sentence again. India has the most number of children under the age of 5 dying due to air pollution. Next sentence, with their their body's defense mechanisms still relatively weak, exposure to pollution sets them up for ailments like asthma, upper respiratory tract infection, childhood leukemia, and high blood pressure. Now, this is a very complicated statement or sentence. Let's break it down. So, I'll repeat it again. With the body's defense mechanism still relatively weak. Okay. Now, here 2 times there is used. With their body's defense mechanism still relatively weak, which means they already have a defense mechanism. Body has a defense mechanism, but to stress on that it's relatively weak, again there is used with their, which means with their defense mechanism. Again there is used like their body's defense mechanism still relatively weak. Okay, which means it is already there, which means everybody has a defense mechanism, but in this case, the children's case, their defense mechanism, body's defense mechanism still relatively weak. Okay, so that is why there is used twice. One says that everybody has a defense mechanism, body has a defense mechanism, but in children, this is relatively weak. Okay, now exposure to pollution sets them up for ailments like asthma, upper respiratory tract infection, childhood leukemia, and high blood pressure. So, now it says, since it is relatively weak, so exposure to pollution sets them up, which means exposes them or make them prone, okay, or make them susceptible, or make them easy to get these diseases, okay, like asthma, upper respiratory tract infection, blood leukemia, and high blood pressure. So it is a little complicated statement, but it's very easy to understand if you break it down. Okay, so the first sentence says India has the most number of children under the age of 5 dying due to air pollution. So we have understood this statement. A lot of children in India under the age of 5 dies of air pollution, which the sentence means. And the second sentence, as I've broken it down, it means that they already have a body defense mechanism, but since their body defense mechanism is relatively weak compared to other human beings, they are more susceptible. It becomes more easy for them to catch these diseases or get into the trap of these diseases like asthma, upper respiratory tract infection, blood leukemia, and high blood pressure. Okay, so this is what it means. Now, you've got the basic idea of what these sentences mean, right? Coming to the next thing is you should focus on and with the pronunciation as well, as I've spoken every single word very clearly. I'm sure you will not feel any problem in pronouncing these words. Okay, coming to the next is the vocabulary. Okay, here it is used. India has the most number of children. Most means many, lot. Okay, body's defense mechanism. Defense means to protect the body. And mechanism is something which is a system. Okay, mechanism is a system within our body to protect our body. Within us to protect our body. Relatively weak, which means comparatively it is weak. To whom it is compared to? It is being compared to other people who are above the age of 5. Okay, so relatively is comparatively. Exposure, which means to get exposed to get in contact with. Okay, sets them up. So phrase, sets them up, which means make them prone. Okay, expose them, make them susceptible, or make them easy to fall or to attract these diseases in a very general or a common English. Okay, ailments. Ailments means diseases. So this is what you have to focus on, and this is how you have to start understanding things. Okay, this is really going, this listening practice or reading practice is going to help you with how to read a sentence, get familiar with the language, how to read a sentence, the pauses you have to take, pronunciation, the vocabulary, new words and its meaning and its usage, plus getting an idea of what it means, which is very important. You have to understand what it means, sentence by sentence. You have to break it down. You have to read sentence by sentence and see what that sentence means, as I've done. So that is why, guys, I thought of coming up with this exercise so that it's easier for you to understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, so if you practice it in this way, definitely it's going to be a great help when you are speaking in English. You know how to pronounce the words, you know how to come up with a sentence with vocabulary, because you have read it many times and you know a lot of words now, and you have used it in your own sentences also. You have practiced it. So you have vocabulary also, which means you have the words as well in your head to make sentences with. Okay, understanding of the words as well. You have the understanding of the sentences also. You know the basic idea of each sentence you have read, right? So it will be easier for you to make new sentences with that. Okay, so these are the advantages of listening or reading in this way. So guys, it's a wrap for today. I'm sure this session have been very useful for you. Write your comments in the comment section and let me know if you want more of such sessions, so that I can come up with these kind of sessions as well to help you. Okay, until then, keep watching, keep speaking and keep exploring. See you. Bye-bye.